My name is Joe Stuber, writer, producer, host of Comic Book Central. I had the privilege of interviewing our special guest today for the show. We talked all about his iconic roles. Oh man, so many, from My Bodyguard, Full Metal Jacket, X-Files. He's Superman, he's Green Lantern, he's on The Last Ship right now. A big welcome for the hero of Canton, the man they call Jane, Adam Baldwin.
Hi, Cincinnati.
No statue for you here today, though. Sorry.
Look at this. I'm going to take that off.
Take that, yeah.
That's stuck in my face there. Wow. So how you been? What do you got?
I'm good. How have you been? How's Cincinnati treating you?
So far, so good. Went to a couple nice places to eat last night and the night before. Met a lot of really nice people.
Do you get to see anything?
Didn't get a chance to see any sporting events, so I wish.
I think there's one going on right now.
Yeah, there's a football game now.
I'm avoiding all.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's just go.
Are you taking us over?
Yeah, come on. Let's just go.
Oh, sweet. You can get us in, I'm sure. So. Excellent. We were talking about The Last Ship too, and we're going to throw this out to the audience for your questions. So there's a microphone like right in the middle here. So if you have questions, let's not get like a mass, maybe 10, 15, 20 clip, and then just keep on coming up. But I want to talk about The Last Ship while we're getting the questions ready here. This is, my wife and I, we call this one of those shows that we yell at the television set a lot during it. It's one of those, we're constantly yelling at the characters as if they could possibly hear us. We're kind of engaged in this thing. Congratulations, by the way, you got picked up 2 more years? Like you're shooting back-to-back seasons that are coming
we start shooting next month,
Yeah.
20 episodes, and they're going to split those up between 2 seasons. So
Nice.
It's tough because it's a summer show, so there's a long time in between the season finale and the next season's premiere. But it's just the nature of the beast, and we're blessed to be aboard with the Navy, and they gave us the Distinguished Service Award, which is apparently one of their highest civilian honors, and they like us. They've been cooperating with us, and it's humbling to be aboard a Navy guided missile destroyer and understand that it's run basically by 19 to 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds. This big platform of war that basically these kids are running, but they're well trained and they're well disciplined, and they have a great esprit de corps, and anyone who's been in the service understands that a lot of responsibility is asked of young men and women that come aboard in whatever branch. So we try to honor them as much as we can by portraying them in positive light and get our uniforms squared away and hopefully hold the weapons properly, because there's nothing, no bigger pet peeve that I have is watching an actor holding a weapon. Just.
Have you busted someone on set?
I don't really bust them, but I will. I will point it out, and we have technical advisors say you need to watch that one more closely. I've made mistakes in the past, though. I mean, there's shots of me and some things in the past where I have poor muzzle management and trigger discipline. I'm better at it now. It just takes training, and it is a what's the word? It's a perishable skill. Like many things, bowling is another one.
Does that come up much on The Last Ship?
You got to practice. No.
I don't think I saw that episode. I think
The bowling episode.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
Season 5,
That's coming up. Nice.
Yeah.
Tease there. Spoiler alert. Right there you go.
The Last Ship bowling. You saw the bowling episode. Wow, that's my favorite. Like the hero of Canton. That's
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite.
Well, you talk about The Last Ship. 13 episodes. I think, or is it? 13 episodes. 10 episodes originally, and then 13. And I think you guys are going back to 10, as you mentioned too. So you kind of get these compact seasons. Whereas other shows, 22, 23 episodes. How is that for you as an actor, just telling a season story in such a compact frame? You did that on Firefly, but not what you wanted to do, but you want a little bit longer reach on that.
Yeah,
we would have liked to have had a much longer reach on that.
Yeah, you have to scramble around with the material they give you, especially with a large ensemble cast. Yeah. Make sure that you get in as much as you can so that the audience and the producers can fall in love with you enough not to kill you off.
I was curious about, when you get a script, do you read it back to front? If you haven't seen the show, don't fall in love with a character. I mean, just Like them, but don't fall in love
Like
with
the
the characters.
producers said, it's a very deadly virus
Yeah.
to the actors.
There's
Just
not
don't
everyone
let
makes
go
it
to your
out
head.
every season.
No, you can't. Well, you got to keep the stakes high. Also, it just, it increases the tension. Everyone's at risk.
Do you kind of wonder, like, do you look ahead a little bit to see, make sure you got to the end of this particular episode, like, whoo, I can go buy that extra car or something?
No, but would it be left-handed if you flipped back?
Left, if you're right-handed or left?
I'm not
Do
sure.
you look at the last page first?
Who doesn't? I mean,
Okay.
really. I said, we're not talking about a novel here. We're talking about this is the job we're doing.
Hopefully you'll make it through all
It's
this.
just a quick perusal. It's not you're reading it for content.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, where are the big speeches? Oh, there's 3. Oh, I get to work on those immediately. Yep, still alive.
Actually, action scene, Adam Baldwin does Adam Baldwin stuff.
We were really, for those of you that did see this season of The Last Ship, we got off the ship and we got into a situation with sort of a prison camp thing, and it was really quite a nice change of pace for us. So it's really given us a lot of different things to play with.
A lot of intense
Including
scenes.
some ultra-violence, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing series. Like I said, we're compelled. We yell at the TV set whenever we're watching, so hopefully you hear us whenever we're yelling. Yeah, let's take some questions here. We got one right up front.
You have a question?
Yeah. Hello. I asked Jewel State this a couple years back, so now I'll ask you. Had Firefly gone on for longer than it had, is there anything you particularly wish we could have seen or would have happened?
Yeah, Daddy Jane. It would have been great to have like a little Jane running around. How cute would that be? Here, kid, wear my hat. Yeah. Here, Anara, will you change him?
Thank you. Also, just real quick, my best friend Johnny couldn't make it today. Could I just hi Johnny into the camera?
Hi, Johnny.
Yeah.
You want me to say hi, Johnny?
Yeah.
Hi, Johnny. How you doing? It's not your birthday or anything, is it?
Nope.
Okay. So happy unbirthday.
Thank you.
He's
Hi, Adam.
representing you
I'm
right on
Don.
front there.
Yeah, you got a great shirt.
I did. I got a deal on it, too. It's still down in the exhibit hall.
Awesome.
Get some.
I get some folks that occasionally gift me with a shirt with my face on it, and I like them. I think they're great, but it would be awkward if I wore them. You know.
It seems like something Jane would do, though.
Yeah.
Like he'd have a shirt with him on it.
He would.
He would.
He would. Can you imagine going into like Pavilions or Vaughn's or something? Your checkers like. Boop, boop, boop. That's creepy. But on you, it looks fabulous, and thank you for the
Thank you.
homage.
So my question's kind of two-parted. With your experience on Serenity, Firefly, and that last season there of Angel, working with Joss Whedon, what was your favorite and worst part or scene? And why?
My favorite experience or scenes? Talking about like scenes we're doing?
I'll leave that up to you.
My
You can recant us.
favorite experience observing Joss Whedon was when we resurrected the storyline for the movie Serenity. I remember going there and watching him in the director's chair, calling action on the first scene. You know, film roll 1, take 1 of the scene we were doing on the movie, and to see the joy in his face, we got it back in the air.
Yeah.
That was just joyful, and the work we did that first 3 weeks was outdoors, hot, sweaty, dusty, fun, hanging on wires. It was great. That whole mule chase. My least favorite, obviously, was the day they knocked on my trailer door and said, "They've just canceled us."
Oh.
Yeah, it's too soon. Too soon.
Yeah.
Still,
We're still
too
grieving.
soon.
Yeah,
Still
it's not
too
going to go.
soon.
It's still grieving.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't an email.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Joss never gave up, though. As soon when they canceled us that night, he said, "We're making more. We're going to do something else," and he did.
Well, I asked you about this on Comic Book Central, and it's, I guess we should address the elephant in the room, too. We always say this. Let's get it out of the way first. Okay, everyone wants more Firefly. Everyone wants more Serenity. You mentioned on the show you were up for an animated series at the time, and several of your fellow castmates were up for an animated series at the time. We hear so many things going back and forth. Fillion says no, Joss Whedon says no, then he says this story's still alive. Where do you see it now? Can we expect more?
It goes down to Joss if he wants to do more. I've heard him say that he doesn't, it sort of sits there as this perfect little shining city on a hill, and Camelot, if you will, and he wants to leave it alone. And he said this publicly because he didn't want to screw it up. He thinks it, and I kind of agree with that. It would be fun to tell the stories just to get in and do the voice again, and they could like cartoon all of us up and make us look really chiseled and buff and young again. But you know, it might be a little past it now.
Could it work as a TV movie? Because we see, like, you know, some of these things, it's like you don't have to do 20 episodes. You could do a 2-hour Netflix.
Yeah, it'd be risky.
Fillion's open now.
It would be.
He's got some time.
It'd be risky to let people down. Their expectations would get real high, and you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You have to address it. You know, so we're going to get the question at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So probably not. Sorry. But thanks for being a part of it while it was, you know, in the air. Did any of you watch it when it was originally on television? Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. We only needed 3 million more of you.
We said on the show, never say never, so I'm going to hold you to that one. So,
okay.
yeah, and you also said when the check clears, you believe stuff.
Exactly. I'll believe it when the check clears.
First off, thanks for coming to Cincinnati. I hope you'll be back in the following years and stuff to come back and see us again.
Great.
I tried to think of like the best question to ask you, and all I kept coming back to was like a stereotypical fan question.
Yeah.
In your opinion, who would win in a fight between Jane and Mike Flaherty?
Jane and Mike Slattery.
Yeah.
Slattery?
Yeah.
Wow. Jane, he's younger.
Casey would win.
Yeah, I don't know. Slattery's got a 5-inch gun, though, so that's a 5-inch barrel for those of you.
I guess, does he get to keep the ship? Does he get to fight with the ship would be the question. Is he?
Well, that's true. You're just talking about a slugfest, a fist fight?
Yeah, just like the two of them are trapped in a room or something together.
Oh, God, that's kind of narcissistic and creepy, too. Who would? I don't know.
Put that guy's shirt on and then answer the question.
Yeah. The younger guy, I think.
Okay, thanks.
Casey and Jane?
Oh, that might, wow.
Yeah,
My money's on
I
Casey.
think, well, I don't know. Yeah, you're talking about just a fist fight, though. Jane was, you know, he's pretty sluggo.
Jane would probably cheat.
He would cheat. Yeah, he would cheat. He'd bring like eye gouging and, you know.
Thank you for coming to Cincinnati. Question I had is, next year will be the 30th anniversary of Full Metal Jacket coming out. Wow. How was it working with probably one of the greatest directors of the last century, Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah, Kubrick was intimidating. When we got hired, we were all individually hired, but it was scary. We thought, what's this guy going to be like? I had imagined him, and I hadn't really delved into his personal history, that he was a sort of an English gentleman. He was famous for creating films in England, but he was a guy from the Bronx. So he was a chess player and a master strategist. I was thinking technician, strategist. What's strategist? And the relationship became like father and son to us, because he was a taskmaster to his actors, which he should be, but he was also kind and warm at times when we needed it. But when that camera was rolling, and if you were screwing around, and you know, 20-something-year-olds screw around if they're not really well disciplined, like we should have been more disciplined as we were younger, but we were pretending to be Jolly Green Giants. And as he said, so we were impatient young actors, and he was a very patient master strategist, master filmmaker. So he taught us through time to be more patient. And that's the thing he imbued with me, I think. The best is to be patient and not necessarily kind, but tolerant.
He ruled the camera with an iron fist. Almost,
Pretty
but
much.
He was
Pretty
kind
much.
but benevolent.
And we were constrained by the English sky. It had much of a gray overcast, and we were shooting in the fall and into the winter months. So there was this limited time in the morning when the sun was below the cloud deck, and then it would be gray the rest of the day until it got below the cloud deck again at sunset. So there was this mad scramble to shoot, and that's when he would yell at us. The rest of the time, he'd just sort of play chess or cards, and we'd sit around and we played a lot of hearts during those cloudy days. Yeah, the card game, Hearts.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, I myself am an actress in like plays and stuff, and probably the hardest part for me is the audition process. So what do you do to like get ready for an audition process, and out of all of your characters, which one had the most difficult audition process to go through?
Well, auditioning is tricky. It's a different animal than actually performing the role. If you're remembering to go into any room from a platform of love as opposed to fear, you'll be way ahead of yourself and the competition. If you love your competition, I don't know if you play sports or games, when you win a game, you want to beat your opponent when they're playing their best. So when you go into an audition, you are kind of rooting for your competition, the other actors that you're auditioning against, to do well. And then if you beat them and get the job, you can feel really proud of yourself. So the way you do that, the way you get rid of fear is preparing, knowing the words, knowing what they mean. There's that old saying, I think it was Spencer Tracy, he said, the key to acting is, hit your mark, which is a technical thing, knowing how to hit your mark where the camera is, say your lines, which means that you've memorized them, and mean them, meaning you've loaded in things that make them connect to you, your heart, and the person you're talking to. So hit your mark, say your lines, mean them is encompassing of acting, as well as Lucille Ball's famous know your props. That's a huge thing. I did that a lot with Jane. It was like find props and play with them. Doings is really important. So come from a platform of love. You're going into an audition or a meeting for a job, an interview. Love the person you're in, love the game you're doing, and they'll love you back. Because they want you to do well.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to prepare and be the best you can. The other thing is at the tail end of an audition or a meeting, if you can walk out of that meeting saying, that's the best I could have done. And you know when you've put the work in and you walk out and you go, I did the best I could have done. And you're either going to get the job or you're not, the part or you're not, but at least you put in the best effort you can. And it's up to them. And, they're going to say no more than they say yes. That's just the nature of the game. So, just have fun and love it. And don't get worried about them saying no. Just, okay, well, next.
Okay, thank you.
All right, don't look back.
Hi,
Hello,
welcome to Cincinnati.
thank you.
How are you doing out here today?
Good, and you?
I'm good, having a great time.
What's your favorite thing?
The prison and here.
Okay. Which prison?
The Star Wars prison. You
Oh,
can pay to have
yes.
people arrested.
Got it. Wow.
You apparently haven't availed yourself
Maybe
of
I
that
shouldn't
yet.
have said that.
No.
My question for you is, how do you feel about the fact that there are second generation and even now third generation fans of your work?
Happy to be here.
Shall I
yeah.
translate the hidden meaning on this?
Well, the alternative is, worse. So
I mean, I think it really says something about how great of an actor you are that I was like 5 when Firefly came out and I'm still watching it.
wow. So when you were 5 watching Firefly, did you watch it when you were 5?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
allowed to.
How? Neither were my kids. It's okay. Actually, they did. But what? May I ask what age you were when you started watching Firefly?
Around 10 or 12.
10 or 12. Okay, so yeah, because there's some complex emotional issues and some, obviously, some more adult themes there. Did that sort of go over your head until later on
Yeah.
rewatch? Okay, well, that's good. So that, but that's a testament to Joss's writing and his crafting it for. I mean, it's a family show with an edge, I think. There's definitely some Inara edge in there.
It's become basically our family's favorite show, from my mom to my brother to me.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Me too. I wish we'd had more.
How do you deal with that impact? I mean, it was only 14 episodes, and yet the following on this is amazing. I think that's why people keep asking about this animated series, Netflix and different things like that, is there's so many characters and so many stories left to be revealed, and we know they're all bouncing around in Joss's brain. We've heard things about Inara. We've heard things about these characters. They're like, oh, we could have filmed that scene, and then Fillion will come out and say, oh, we could have filmed that scene. Do you feel just unfinished? Do you want to go back and do something, or are you good to just let it go?
It's a romantic feeling. We all romanticize revisiting it. I think we've come to the realization that that's probably not going to happen, sadly. But we had that for a time. Better to have loved and lost, as it were.
Do you have a backstory for Jane that you'd like to have told?
He's just some
In a-
suburban kid gone wrong. His mom knits him one of these hats. 1, 2. There's like 10 hats in here. Yeah, that was great. But Joss and Tim Minear and I, we talked about his backstory, and we thought that he came from some sort of middle class suburban upbringing. Where mom made a lot of soup.
Soup.
Would
you write a comic book?
Would I? Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm not really a writer. I'm a talker.
You're a doer.
Yeah, a doer. There are too many good writers out there. I don't want to compete with them. I'd rather do their words.
Fair enough.
Bring it.
Hi, I'm
What does
a
that
huge
say
fan.
on your arm?
Serenity.
Serenity.
Yeah.
Is that a full-on tattoo?
Yes.
God bless you.
We'll be by later so you can sign underneath it. She's going to get that tattoo too.
Well,
Yeah.
I sort of promised my wife I wouldn't sign skin.
Well, no, like I'm gonna have you sign something, and then I'm gonna have a friend of mine who's a tattoo
Oh,
artist.
okay. Well, I can't stop
put
you
the
from doing
tattoo
that.
there. But my question is, because I became a huge fan of Firefly, and then huge fan of Serenity. Obviously, he introduced it to me. And my question is, how did everybody react when the show had to end? Like all your coworkers. What was that moment like?
We were devastated. We were working on the lot at Fox when, the suits, the phone calls came down, the knocks on the doors sort of said, okay, this is the last episode, we're canceled. Merry Christmas. We were sad, we cried, we had some vodka, and we drowned our sorrows and then had to go find work again. We're circus players. We have to move on, but it was sad. Because we loved it so much. Everyone just loved each other so much, and you could see it on camera. You could see it on the screen. That there are a few casts that you can just tell they've got it, and those shows are rare. And that was one of the things I kept trying to remind the younger people on the show is that these are rare shows like this, that you're going to get this feeling. So, when you have one and recognize it, embrace it and live it and love it and, hang there, it's like life, it sees the day. Or when you're on a show that may not be that at the beginning, try to make it that. So,
Thank you. And by the way, my outfit was inspired by Firefly.
oh, well, thank you. I mean, I approach every job I'm on now the same way, and the last ship, we have number one on the call sheet, our department head, Eric Dane, who sets the example and is fun and dedicated hard worker. Zach Levi on Chuck, same thing. Song and dance man would keep us entertained in between takes on those long days. And it's just a blessing for me to be able to be kind of that elder statesman, if you will, making sure that I support that, you know. J.K. Simmons' acceptance speech at the Oscar a couple years back for Whiplash, which is a fantastic movie. My son's a drummer, so we really like that. But his speech about how we are supporting players is something I take to heart. And when he said, oh, that's what I try to do when I'm on a show, whether I'm, you know, high up on the call sheet or just a guest actor or whatever, let's increase this, let's appreciate this as much as we can. And people appreciate that, and things get better, you know. So that's all.
I've got, I guess, kind of a two-part question. The first one's going to be pretty easy, and that's, of all the roles you've played, what was your favorite? Your favorite character, your favorite to play? And then the second part, of all the roles that have happened since you started your career, which one would you like to have played?
Do better? Oh, which one would I have liked to?
Yeah, which role would you really have liked to have played that you didn't get to?
Oh. I'll start with that one first. Yeah. I auditioned for the Patrick Swayze role in The Outsiders, didn't get it. It was a long process. He's great, don't get me wrong. I worked with him, lovely man, rest in peace. But that would have been fun to have been part, but it would have changed my life. I would have been kind of part of that scene, I think, and it would have made for a different trajectory. What was the first part?
What was your favorite role that you did play?
That I did play, my favorite role that I did play. The correct answer is the current one. But I really am enjoying Slattery because of just the content that we get to do. We get to hang with actual Navy personnel, and we get to ride aboard a guided missile destroyer twice a year. Even just climbing aboard the thing when it's in port is, you know, an honor, and that's great. Again, I would romanticize Jane because I don't feel that the arc was completed. And I would like to go back and finish that arc, but, you know, that's above my pay grade. But I have like some milestones. I have My Bodyguard was the first movie I did a long time ago.
Out now on Blu-ray.
Yes,
by the way.
now out
Just
on Blu-ray.
now out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, so for those of you who have parents of, you know, kids that are, I guess, you know, anywhere from 10 on up, show it to them. It's a good high school movie. And, you know, Full Metal Jacket and Chuck and X-Files, Jane, Slattery. There's probably a couple more in between, but those are like my main 5-6 roles that are just, that's right in my wheelhouse.
All right, thank you.
You're
Where do
welcome.
you shoot The Last Ship? Especially like we talked about the POW scenes this year. It sort of went next level. The show went next level this year. Where are you shooting everything?
Everything's basically Southern California. We do get to go to San Diego and ride aboard Navy ships, but we also have some stages there in Los Angeles.
Okay, I found some great locations. I mean, those
Yeah.
scenes looked really good.
Those were up, I don't know if you saw the fires on the news in Southern California, but there's a place called Sanna Ranch, S-A-N-N-A, Sanna Ranch, completely burned down. That's where our whole set just scorched in a wildfire.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, those big fires out there. It's
Hi, my name's Deb. I, of course, huge Firefly fan. I was always fascinated the way Joss Whedon kind of snuck stuff in, like the Chinese. And did you all have to really learn to speak any Chinese, or did you just you had somebody that would help you? And what's your best curse word that you remember?
Well, the funny thing about the Chinese is Jane didn't say too much of it, so there was not a lot of. Joss was like, "There's no way we're going to make him learn all that stuff." I would have done it, but I think it was better rolling off Nathan and Alan's tongue because they just seemed so much more innocent than Jane would have. My favorite curse word, I don't know, it's whatever the exploding diarrhea of an elephant is, and I can't even remember how to say it. But yeah,
That'll work.
that'll work.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Or is it explosive? Yeah, anyway.
Hi.
Hi.
My question for you is if, out of all the current running TV shows or any future movies coming up, what role would you like to play?
Of shows that are on?
Shows that are on or future movies that we know are coming out?
Well.
Do you want to be a superhero in the Marvel Universe? Or the DC Universe?
I'm sort of a partial superhero on the show I'm on. No.
Fair enough.
I can't think of one, no, not
No?
offhand. I try to stay in the now, and what I have now is something I love, and just going to hang on to it.
All right, and can you do me a favor? My mom and aunt couldn't be here, but can you say hi to them?
What are their names?
Beth and Shannon.
Hey, Beth and Shannon, we miss you here. We wish you could have been here at Cincinnati, but you're not. So we love you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bengals.
Yes, of course. Got to represent. It was kind of awkward trying to get on the buses, though, because everybody thought we were trying to get to Paul Brown, and that's not where we were going.
Any update on the score? Or is that a spoiler?
It was 17 to 14 the last time we looked at
Oh,
the
good.
beginning of the panel. No,
Oh,
not good.
Good close game then.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question for you is, like, we all fell so much in love with those Firefly characters, and even, like, you guys, the people that played them. What's your best, like, funny / goofy / embarrassing story from, like, on set?
Oof.
Or
Yeah.
your top 5. That's good.
Well, there was a episode where I had to tape on some weaponry, and the tape did pull some of my chest hair, stomach hair off. So that was embarrassing to do in front of, Simon and folks, but embarrassing. I don't know. I'm pretty stoic. I don't get embarrassed about too many things.
Or like from any of the other cast members, or like what funny stories from the.
Gosh, I'd hate to. I can't do Nathan justice. He's too. He tells his stories too well for me to even try to fake it. All I can remember is I threw gummy worms on his new truck. He kept bragging. He kept bragging about his new truck. I got this new truck. Oh, terrific. We might get canceled. I'm still getting a new truck. Isn't it great? And then somebody put big zip ties on his crankshaft underneath the car, so it made this clacketa, clacketa, clacketa sound. He was so mad. He shouldn't have bragged about that new truck so much, man. We're still driving our old beaters, and you got this new truck. So I threw some gummy worms on his windshield on a hot summer day. He didn't like that at all.
Well, thanks again for coming to see us. It's really great to have you here in Cincinnati.
Thank you. Go Bengals.
Yeah, hooday.
Who day? Oh, nice. Good.
Not for those people DVRing the game at home.
Sorry, you only watched the second half anyway.
So I have kind of like a three-parter, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So my first question is mostly about Chuck. You started out as John Casey, a very gruff, very cold emotionally character, and then it kind of transitioned into he started to show more emotion, how he felt.
Wimpy, soft, all that. Yeah, I get it.
And then, like in The Lost Ship, your character is more just straightforward about he cares, but he's still tough and able to do the things he needs to do. Just kind of a how hard is it to go on that progression as that John Casey did, and then compared to just doing it from the start?
I think for Casey, they wanted to make sure that they established him as a killer, that Chuck would be at risk. So that's kind of where it started, and then friendships and respect build over time. And we were an action comedy, so there was a little more leeway, whereas The Last Ship is pretty much action, adventure, drama. It's a fine line to walk with Slattery because, you know, he is snarky. He's lived the life of that, but things are so horrible now that it just would tonally be wrong for him to be too snarky, especially, you know, if he's being poisoned or tortured or blooded, bloodletted and vampirates. We have vampirates in our show, in case you missed it. I do always ask the writers, I said, where's the funny? We have to have some sort of comic relief somewhere, whether it's just, you know, a wink and a nod or a, you know, puff on a cigar at the right time. Joking about keel hauling someone can be funny if it's played right. You know what keel hauling is, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It's not good. You don't want to be keel hauled. I just, you know, just try to roll with it. You know, what are the writers giving me this week to play with, and what can I sink my teeth into, and what sort of props can I play with? Keep it simple, keep it real, keep it tactile, tangible. What am I doing? I always try to reinforce to them, is make sure that I'm doing something that's cool with not just saying stuff, standing there saying stuff. Like, write in, for all of us, load in stuff that we're actually doing. That's hard. It's hard to write like that, and especially on the time constraints on a television show. But when you have a good team, they do that.
Gotcha. And then my last question is, I know Chuck, when it was just getting off the ground, was under threat of cancellation. Was the whole Firefly situation kind of like flying before your eyes again?
Totally, yeah. Yeah, we thought, we were lucky to get picked up, our pilot to even get picked up. It was just the nature of the business at that time, and you know, the executioners, the network executives, executioners' axe is always ready to fall if you drop below a certain level. And we were able to hang on with Chuck, and Firefly, I think, had it started later, it would have had more of a life, because it would have had more of a social media impact. It would have had more of an online streaming presence that could have given it extra juice and more eyeballs. But, you know, that was just the nature of the time.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Firefly was very good, but definitely before its time. Yeah, that's it.
I remember Jewel was talking, I was talking with Jewel recently at, I think it was Long Beach, at the panel, and they were asking about, you know, Firefly getting canceled. She goes, oh yeah, she was all jaded because she started when she was like 6. I started when I was 17. So she was the grizzled, she was the youngest in the cast, but she was the most grizzled because she'd been around and doing it longer, except for probably me or Ron. But she said, oh yeah, death slot, Friday nights at 8, we're canceled. Like, so, yeah, we felt that looming over us the whole time, but it brought us closer together.
Yeah, I'm glad that Chuck was able to pull through in the end, because it's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Alex.
I just recently watched your episode on Castle, with you and Nathan. It was pretty great to see you guys together and having fun. Are there any other guest appearances that you have done that you've got stories about, or ones that you would like to do in the future with some of your past friends?
Yeah, guest starring on a show can be awkward. It's not always that way, but if you have someone like Nathan who's there to welcome you and shepherd you through, then it's nice. He's just a total mensch, and Also, the character's right in my wheel. I just said, okay, well, I have no fear. Again, where's the young woman who asked about auditions? Yes, so again, I didn't have any fear. It was only love for that character, and working with Nathan, I could just have fun. Just stand on a platform of love and confidence. And I remember when Nathan asked me if I could do it, he texted me. I guess they were talking about a character like that, and he said, "Hey, Baldwin, are you up for doing a character on our show, kind of a cross between Dirty Harry and Jane Cobb?" Just on it, yeah, hit me. So they came up with that, and I was able to do it twice. If you've seen those two episodes, I think they're.
I've only
great.
seen the first one.
Oh, there too, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the second one, there's some singing involved.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to paint a picture of a happier reality where Firefly lived a long and fruitful life.
Come a little closer to the microphone, please.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you get what I said?
No. Yes, I did,
Okay.
but I want to make sure that you finish the rest
All
of
right.
it powerfully. From a platform of love, bring it.
In that reality, what would you like to have seen the final resolution for the show and the characters be?
That's an easy question. I don't know. For the whole show?
Yeah.
Man, we only got halfway through season 1.
Exactly.
It writes itself.
Wait, what? Yeah, writes itself. Why does he have to die? Why can't it just continue on?
Everybody in sci-fi dies.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, yeah, I don't know. I always fantasized that Jane would settle down with Anera, but Jocelyn would never have any part of that. No, absolutely not. You have no chance. Like, well, yeah, but she's the ideal lady, for him. Was it Nathan? Nathan would get a fleet of other junkers, and I don't know. See, this is why I'm not a writer. It's too hard.
I think we have time for one more quick question.
Wait, what was? Yeah, that's right. I become the mayor of James on that mud planet? No way! Dude, that was actually, we shot that at Santa Ranch too, which is gone.
Before I go, my friend Mitchell could not be here today, and he would love a shout out.
Okay. Is he going to be on camera? I mean, you
Yeah, I'm recording.
You going to record this? Mm-hmm. Okay, are you going to point the camera at me?
Voice is good enough.
Okay, you ready? You just wanted audio. Mitchell? His name is Mitchell?
Yes.
Hi, Mitchell. Sorry you couldn't be here with us today. We're having a grand old time at Cincinnati Convention Comic-Con. What's the actual title of this thing?
Cincinnati Comic Expo.
It's right here, Cincinnati Comic Expo. It's right here on the frickin' tablecloth. I knew that.
Thank you.
Yeah, forget about that writing the comic book question. That was
Exactly. Never.
We got time for one more, and then I think you're heading back down to sign some autographs.
I
And take some
might,
pictures.
yeah, I might do that. I want to see what this young man's question is.
Yep.
What do you got?
During the filming of Firefly, who's your favorite cast member to work with?
Ooh. Wow. Going out.
Yeah, no, you
controversial.
see, no, this one's easy. It's Nathan. Everybody would say Nathan. I'm positive each single cast member would say Nathan. What would Nathan say is the question.
Nathan. He'd say Nathan.
He would say, besides me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan was great, a great leader. He was carrying the show on his shoulders as the lead, and we loved him. He always had a great spirit. He was that supporting actor that J.K. Simmons talks about for the rest of the cast and crew. And there's an old saying, poop rolls downhill. It's true. But if you have a guy at the top who is just a sweetheart and a loving guy and funny, that stuff rolls downhill too. So we caught all of his love and none of his poop.
Well, our time with you has come to an end for today. I think you're heading back down to your table. So if you have any more questions, you can head back down, get some pictures, get some autographs. It's Adam Baldwin on Twitter. The Last Ship, you can catch up with Season 3 on TNT On Demand. Season 4 next summer. It's Adam Baldwin.
Thank you very much.
Come on, give it up.